Thank you, Lawrence. Thank you all very much for giving us the opportunity to present you and describe us our story. Santacruz is a silver mining-oriented company. We're aiming to become a mid-tier silver producer in the next 3 to 4 years, where we would like to be producing around 5 million ounces of silver equivalent on a yearly basis. In order to get there, we have 3 properties: Rosario, Gavilanes, and San Felipe. Our first mine to go in production will be Rosario. Once in full capacity, Rosario will be giving you around 2.2 million ounces of silver in a yearly basis, and it will be followed then by San Felipe. San Felipe mine, we expect to have San Felipe in production by December 2014, and San Felipe will be producing around 3.4 million ounces of silver on a yearly basis. It'll be followed finally by Gavilanes deposit. Gavilanes is a mine that has so far given us very encouraging results in terms of exploration. We want to know Gavilanes better before we start planning on a mill for this property. But with the information that we have today, we believe that Gavilanes will be producing around 3.2 to 3.4 million ounces on a yearly basis. We have a strong management team, a strong board of directors as well. Francisco Ramos, which maybe you might be familiar with, he's co-founder of Great Panther Silver Resources. He has put together 8 mines and 8 mills now, all of them in time frame and in budget. So Francisco is our COO. Francisco will be in charge of getting Rosario, San Felipe, and finally Gavilanes into production. Sorry, I would like to introduce myself, if you allow me. I've been in the mining industry for the last 10 years. I embarked into a project where we explore it, we develop it, and we put it into production back in 2001. Then I joined Starcore as a country manager, and I was looking for all the operational matters of San Martin mine and the corporate matters in the country. We have a strong board of directors. James Houghton, which you might know him. James founded a company called Houghton Capital, which through Houghton Capital, he funded around $1.4 billion to union mining companies, and finally he sold this firm to Canada Dominion Resources. Greg Angus is chairman of Neptune Resources, and he was founder of Potage North Resources as well. He has extensive experience in the industry as well. Mark Prefontaine, which is former president and CEO of Great Resources, which was sold last year for $280 million, and it was a very successful venture for his investors and his team. Our share structure today is around 75 million shares. I'm pleased to tell you that we started this company back in 2009 as a private venture. We invest as friends and family $8 million on a private side, and then we just listed in April, raising $20 million with the idea of being fully funded to have our first mine in production. I'm pleased to tell you that we subscribe as friends and family another $3.5 million in that private placement. So with that, I want to point out that we're fully committed to build a company, and we're definitely, going toward that, right? Here is a resume on the highlights of our 3 properties. Rosario mine, which will be the first mine to go in production. Today, Rosario has around 20 million ounces of silver equivalent in resources. We have bought a mill from Goldcorp, a 500-ton-a-day mill, which we have already moved to site. I'm pleased to tell you that we have already poured the foundations for the ball mills and the crushing sections. So things are very in line as we planned with the idea of having this mine in production by first quarter of 2013 at the latest. We want to be in commercial production somewhere around January or February. We have a vein system there in Rosario, which we have traced for 2.5 kilometers so far. Our resources today are only in 500 meters length, so we still have potential to north and south part of the property as well as depth. It's a mesothermal deposit, and our deepest drill hole has gone today to the 200 meters, where we cut both veins economically. So we believe that we still have potential at deep at least another 200 meters. Once Rosario in full production will be giving, as I was telling before, somewhere around 2.2 million ounces of silver on a yearly basis. It will be followed then by San Felipe. San Felipe is a property that we're buying from Hochschild Mining. It's a property that was very well developed and explored by Hochschild. It's right now ready to go into production, all permits in hand. We're planning to have a 1,500 ton a day mill, and we just post a resource estimate on San Felipe for around 50 million ounces of silver equivalent in resources. All permits are in place, and the main service ramp is practically at ore. So we're very excited, and we're looking forward to have San Felipe in production by the end of 2014. And finally, Gavilanes, which we're exploring and we'll keep exploring during the next 15 months. We are aiming to have in Gavilanes around 50 million ounces of silver equivalent in resources by the next 15 months. We're doing some drilling in the main veins that we have today identified, which are Guadalupe and Descubridora. We have 7 veins there at site, which we have traced all of them to an average of 1 kilometer. And we have also stock work, a very interesting stock work, which was explored years before and has 2 historical drill holes for around 36 meters through wide with 330, 350 grams of silver. As we speak, we're conducting a diamond drill campaign in Gavilanes. Once we get there with the 50 million ounces that we were planning to have in the next 15, 18 months, actually, but we have already been 3 months drilling there. Once we get there and we have a better knowledge of the behavior chip of this deposit, we're going to plan the right mill for Gavilanes. But with the information that we have today, and as far as we know Gavilanes, we believe that we can produce around 3 million ounces, at least 3 million ounces of silver on a yearly basis. Maybe you know my country already, but here's a map of Mexico, and the green state is San Luis Potosí, where Rosario is, Rosario property. We're neighbors from Azarco. Azarco is running a 4,000 ton a day mill and with very encouraging or very positive results, very nice recoveries. San Felipe is in Hermosillo, Sonora, in the northwest part of the country, and finally Gavilanes is in San Dimas Durango. We're very close to Tayoltita deposit. Tayoltita is a Primero mine deposit down there in San Dimas. The three of them are historical mining districts in the country. This is Charcas town. Charcas is a mining-oriented economy, so labor is practically on hand, and we have today around 1 million tons in resources and in Rosario, and we're planning to double our resources in the next coming in the next 12 months. By then, in the meantime, we're putting together Rosario Mill. We are having a 500 ton a day mill, which is practically today is around 55% fully assembled. So we're expecting to have this mill fully or completely assembled by the end of November. And then we'll start running our pre-operational rounds. This is a picture on the mill arriving at site. We have the full mill now at site. This is a long section of Rosario. What is very interesting about this deposit is that you have 2 parallel veins with an average distance of 35 meters. So we're going to have a service ramp between both veins, and that will allow us to get some economies of scale in the way that one service ramp will work for both veins. We still have an upside potential to the northwest side of the property, as well as to the south and at deep. Our resources today are on 500 meters, as you can see. Our deepest drill hole today is 200 meters, so having said that it's a mesothermal deposit, we believe that we still have upside potential at deep. Here are some highlights on our drill holes. As what we would like to point out here is that it's literally a high-grade silver deposit. This is a picture on how Rosario will be looking once in production. We estimate a net cost for an ounce of silver on the $6 range. As you can see, your revenues will come 73% from precious metals and the rest from zinc and lead. I would like to highlight that our resources today are on a base of $17.5 per ounce of silver. So we believe they are conservative. We also feel comfortable with this ramp-up stage at production stage. Next, the next mine to come in production will be San Felipe. San Felipe, it's a very interesting deposit. We feel that it has a blue sky potential, as only one vein today has been practically the one that has been explored the most, La Ventana vein. I'm pleased to tell you that around 85% of the resources today are only from La Ventana vein, and that was because the main objective or the main target for Hochschild back then was this vein due to the true whites that it has and the grades that the vein has. So we believe that the south part of the property presents a very interesting upside potential. We definitely believe that this mine could host more than 100 million ounces of silver in resources, and we're going to do exploration in the coming months with that, aiming to that idea. The productive mines in here are the historical productive mines are Las Lamas, Cornucopia, and Artemisa, where silver grades are higher than the north part of the deposit. It's a long section of the three veins, also mesothermal deposit, so we believe we still have upside potential at deep. This is a picture on La Ventana vein. It's an outcrop. Geologically, it's a beautiful outcrop. As you might see some of the drill holes, and that's why makes La Ventana so exciting to explore and to develop at that time. Right now, La Ventana has a service ramp practically at ore and ready to go into production. We're planning to have a 1,500 ton a day mill at Gavilanes, at San Felipe, I'm sorry, and the mine will be ready right away to start production at that rate. And finally, Gavilanes, which is in San Dimas Durango, right in the middle of Tayoltita and Basis. Basis is a mine, a world-class silver mine in Mexico, owned by a Mexican family. Tayoltita is Primero mining deposit. Both of them are world-class deposits, so we share the same mineralogy trend as those two world-class deposits. Today, we have around 17 million ounces in historical resources on Gavilanes. We're drilling and we're confirming the veins at deep as we have been projecting them. We're also finding or trying to understand better the stockwork area that it's there. There are two very important veins for us that so far, encourage us to keep exploring those on the first stage, which are Guadalupe and Descubridora. The reason for that is that the true whites of these veins is really encouraging, 3 meters, 3.5 meters, with very nice silver grades above the 340 grams of silver on average. We have also identified the rhyolitic dikes at the property with the economical values. We don't want to do exploration right now at those dikes, but we believe that in the future this will represent an upside potential for Gavilanes. Here's a picture of Guadalupe vein. As you can see, it's really wide at this point. The foot wall on this vein is a rhyolitic dike with average grades of 320 grams of silver. We have traced that rhyolitic dike all over 500 meters together with the vein. So we believe that in the future those rhyolitic dikes definitely could be an interesting area. The Atocha drill hole, the one at the very bottom, is a historical drill hole which caught the stockwork area with 36, 37 meters of true white with interesting economic values. So we believe that we have a very nice portfolio of properties, all of them ready to become mines eventually. We just need to execute our plan properly, to be very diligent on the money that we have today, spend it wisely, and making sure that Rosario goes into production as planned and on time. we believe that we should be producing 5 million ounces by the end of 2014. Thank you so much for your attention.